MK Rabbi Dov Lipman, who calls himself a moderate ultra-Orthodox Jew, emigrated to Israel from Silver Spring, Maryland in 2004. 17th on Yesh Atid's list, he never expected to be an Israeli politician. Soon after arriving in the country, he lost some innocence.
I went outside, and there were a few police cars, and I asked the policeman, what's going on? And he said, run, run. I said, why should I run? And all of a sudden, this hailstorm of rocks came flying down on us, and this rock hit me. The switch went off in my head, and I said to myself, moving to Israel, I was prepared for all kinds of sacrifices. The one thing I never thought about was Jews against Jews. And I said I want to try to do something about it, to try to heal these wounds, deal with this extremism, find some way to create an Israeli culture where that can't happen. There's two reasons for it. One is, let's remember that all Israeli governments, left-wing and right-wing, have enabled the ultra-Orthodox establishment to have whatever they wanted, just to have them in the coalition and move forward with their political agendas. I also understand why after the Holocaust, there was a feeling of Torah world was destroyed, we have to rebuild it and do things that are different than usual in order to rebuild Torah. I get that. But we've done that. We've done that. We've rebuilt Torah. A person can be, there's Torah all over Israel. It's flourishing. When it's a huge group of tens of thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands, that tears apart the very fabric of our society. You can't have a society, a value-centered society, where there's that percentage of people who don't view themselves as part of the broader society. As long as that isolationism continues, that breeds extremism. Look, America, tolerance and pluralism and separation on a certain level of religion and state, all of these things are what we were used to. And I do think we bring a certain freshness and newness.
He became well known in Beit Shemesh, where he lives, when he began escorting girls to religious school to prevent them from being harassed by ultra-Orthodox men.
Oh, it was just verbal. No, you're talking about psychologically, theologically, emotionally damaging young girls. Who, it was a very difficult time, and to see that happening. And we were able to rally together, create this unified bloc, and we demonstrated against it, and it stopped. When a secular person tells me, I hate Judaism, and I hate that I hate Judaism, that speaks to me. It speaks to me, because why should anybody hate their Judaism? And we have to create an Israel where Judaism is defined in Israel by our values. By our values. We are tolerant, we are respectful, we don't have any racism, no discrimination. That's what should define us, and we should be a light unto the nations in terms of that.
MK Ruth Calderon is a secular Talmud scholar. She founded two popular institutions which some call secular yeshivas, including Alma, a quote, home for Hebrew culture in Tel Aviv. In Calderon's inaugural Knesset speech, which gathered over 200,000 hits on YouTube, she taught Talmud. In the middle of her Talmud explication, she and everyone else in the room were surprised when MK Vachnin of the ultra-Orthodox Shas party interceded, as in a yeshiva, to add a relevant comment.
הוא היה שכיח, הוא היה מצוי לפני רבא, ראש הישיבה של מחוזה.
רחם זה גם רמח.
סליחה?
רחם זה גם רמח.
תודה רבה, יישר כוח. זה שותפות, אני שמחה לכל...
אני חושב שהרעיון שאומרת הוא רעיון יפה.
אני שמחה לשותפות בדברי תורה. When he did that, I kind of felt more calm and could go on with it. What happened with him demonstrates for me that Torah is really a common place, a common ground for Jews in Israel, and not only in Israel, Jews in the world that in our daily life live a very different life and have very different values. But when we study, there's a kind of solidarity of people that love Torah.
Calderon takes respectful Torah disputation as a great model for a productive Knesset.
Disagreement and dispute, machloket, is not just exists there, but it is the way to study. You need someone to oppose you in order to understand what you actually think. and to go closer to the truth. So this is a good place. There's a lot of opposition. I feel Jewish everywhere. I feel Jewish when I go to the beach and I see the sea. I feel Jewish when I smell the morning. But if you ask me about the last few months, a big moment for me was recently when we all came here to take vows as Knesset members, not only the new ones. And afterwards we all stood up and sang the Tikva. And it was very moving. I was like almost, shaking. But while we were doing that, I noticed that the Arab Knesset members, most of them went out. And I thought that in order to be completely Jewish, we have to be sensitive to the citizens in our country. They don't feel comfortable singing Nefesh Yehudi Omiyah, and even if there's no solution and that is the way it's going to be, I felt the Jewish thing in myself is to notice them and to feel for them and to kind of think afterwards, what could I do, what could we do in order to make this house not only the Jewish Knesset, but a democratic, human, kind of sensitive place for all citizens in Israel. We are only here for a few weeks, but I do believe that it's possible to remember that my fellow Knesset members, each one has the truth, and that the people of Israel put us all together not to fight, but to try to understand each other and build some kind of compromise in which we can all live in. So I'm full of hope.